Again, this is Kevin with the Lordship Ministries, and I wanted to get on YouTube again and talk to you a little bit about some of the things that we offer at the Lordship Ministries. And one of those things is a spiritual growth teaching series. And that is important because what it does, it's not just about teaching, it's not just about a Sunday school class or whatever, but it's where we really evaluate each person in their spiritual growth. Sometimes we tend to assume we know where they're at spiritually. But the truth is, the Bible tells us we need to know, we need to evaluate, we need to measure the spiritual growth. Make sure that they're no longer infants, that they're growing to become adults or mature Christians. Not that they say they're mature, but that they act it, that their characteristics, their personality, all of those kinds of things, the fruit of the Spirit, is evident in their life naturally, not just faked, but naturally it happens in their lives. And so one of the things we like to offer is a teaching series that help. And so one of those, I have a brochure here I'd love to mail to you, and what it has is the information on 5 different teaching series that we've put together. Why are these unique? Why do you need them? Why should you even ask about them? Well, here's the thing. They each with them have spiritual growth evaluations. And we teach you how to do that with each person. I've used this illustration before, but my brother-in-law used to work on a ranch with cattle. And I remember going around with him, and he would be checking out the cattle and making sure that everything's right, and if one of them was walking differently or not normal or whatever, they had to check them out to make sure that the flock, the cattle, were doing well. Now, I know that's a crude illustration, but in the same way, pastors and church leaders are responsible for the spiritual health of the people in their congregation, in their flock. And so, as overseers, as shepherds, we have to know the spiritual condition, not assume, not hope, not guess, but know. And so each one of these teachings have that as a part of it, built in. PowerPoint presentations, discussion questions. Those are some things that all teachings generally have. But the unique aspect of it is that these are all geared toward spiritual growth, not just to teach something to teach it. How have you applied it? Do you really believe it? Now, that's a question that's so important. Do you really believe this? The first one that I want to talk about is a fan or a follower of Jesus Christ. Are you a fan or are you a follower of Jesus Christ? That is a powerful question. And Matthew chapter 7, 21 through 23 is one of the key verses. Not everybody who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven. That's the facts. Lots of people will say, Lord, Lord. And it even goes on to say that many will come to me in that day and say, we've cast out demons, we've healed the sick, we've prophesied in your name. And Jesus is going to say to them, away from me, I don't know you. In other words, there was no relationship with Jesus Christ. They may have used his name, or in a better sense, abused his name, but they do not know him. They're not a part. They don't have an intimate relationship with Jesus Christ. And the only way to do that is be a follower of Christ, to follow him. Jesus didn't ask us to be Christians. Come to me and be Christian. No, he said, follow me. Follow me. And be like me. Be Christ-like as you follow me. And spiritual disciplines help us to follow Christ. But this is a key. Kyle Adamman wrote this book, Not a Fan, and it's powerful stuff. Second one, 7 keys to practices of discipleship, which are the disciplines I was talking about. There's an incredible book written by John Ortberg called The Life You've Always Wanted. And in it, it describes 7 practices of disciples. 7 practices of followers of Jesus Christ. And how those practices change their lives. And one of the key passages, one of the key chapters in this book is trying versus training. Jesus never told us to try. He said to train. And Paul gives that over and over again. Work out your salvation. Train yourself up in the ways of the Lord. Study to show yourself approved. These are things that we train and practice. The old phrase, practice makes perfect. Well, we're not going to be perfect till we get to heaven. But practice helps us to become more Christ-like because it makes it a part of who we are. Patience, love, joy, peace. Things that distinguish followers of Christ from the world. You know, one of the things they tell us today that in this Gallup polls and different studies is that non-believers can't tell the difference between followers of Christ and non-believers. Christians and non-believers. There's no difference. Why spend time on Sunday? Why give money? Why dedicate your life to this when as a result of it, you're no different. You don't act any different. You're not any different than a person who doesn't go to church, doesn't tithe or give. And so these practices are what really call us out from the world. And Jesus said, you are called out. You're my church. This is how you are to live. And so we practice that. Key passage there. The next one, how to live in the Spirit. Powerful guidance on the direction of the Holy Spirit. Francis Chan has written a book called The Forgotten God. Powerful book. And we have developed the student notes, study questions, spiritual growth evaluations that go along with that, PowerPoint presentations that we want to give to you. If you're in the Oklahoma area, we want to go to your church and teach them with you. And be able to help you and guide you in that. The next one's called Talk is Cheap, Actions That Speak. In other words, we've talked about it so many times, the phrase that says, you know, if preach the word, but if you have to, use words. It's our lives. It's who we are, our characters. Andy Stanley wrote a book called Louder Than Words. Powerful. We've designed teaching along that line. PowerPoint presentation, spiritual growth evaluations, discussion questions. The next one is the 3D principle, and that's another one written by Andy Stanley. It's a powerful book on your decisions. Life is about a series of decisions that you make, and how those decisions are connected to a direction in your life. That direction leads you to a destination that ultimately is eternal. I worked in hospice many years and had many nurses that would work with us in different teams. And it was amazing how many of them could go in and take care of a person who was dying with COPD or emphysema or whatever the case may be as a result of smoking. Take care of them and then walk out of the house, walk out of the nursing home or hospital and pull out a cigarette and smoke it. How they talk about the suffering of those who die from emphysema or COPD and different things like that. How horrible, horrific the death is of a person that dies from those things. And yet they go out and smoke. The same thing that causes a person to have this illness. So there's a disconnect between what they really believe and the decision that they make. Well, I know it causes this kind of a death. It's horrible and everything, but I'm going to still smoke. They don't see that decision to smoke leads to that direction in their life, and that's one of the destinations that they will die from is something to do related to a decision they made to smoke. Now, that's an illustration that applies in a certain way, but you understand what I'm talking about. Those decisions are connected. They have made a disconnect. But the decisions are connected to a direction in life and a destination. Powerful stuff. I want to help you with that. Please email me. It's at kmstrum@gmail.com. Our website is getting going. It's kind of in its primitive stages, but it's the lordshipministries.com. God bless you. Have a great day.